Hey there, I am back with another deck review, and today we're going to be looking at Icons Anniversary from Oath Playing Cards and designer Lotrek. Icons Anniversary is a celebration of the 5th birthday of the original Icons Imperial deck that was funded on Kickstarter back in 2017. That deck was notable for being the first one to feature 2 different colors of hot stamp foil on the back of the cards. And since then, it's become one of those really highly sought after decks from Lotrek's impressive library. Now fast forward to 2022 and Lotrek has created a follow-up, a chance for everyone to enjoy this fantastic design. Now while this particular version doesn't include the foils that made the original one famous, it does feature many of the luxury touches that we've come to expect from Oath in every one of his decks. Now, the design itself draws its inspiration from the Byzantine Empire, the eastern part of the Roman Empire that actually survived the collapse of the Romans to exist for another 1,000 years. The deck celebrates their ornate artwork and draws its name in particular from the religious paintings that were called icons that the culture produced. Those paintings include some well-known images of Jesus, Mary, and the saints, but they were also a source of conflict with the Catholic Church, who viewed those items as a form of idolatry. It's a great historical inspiration behind the deck, and I'm really excited to see how Lotrek's able to bring it to life with his art. So let's get right into it. Start with the tuck case. So as usual, Lotrek makes his own tuck cases, and he always does an impeccable job with them. This one's done on a black matte stock, and it's covered with gold and this sort of clear foil to form a fantastic design that's reminiscent of the original. The black and gold's a great pairing, and the embossing on this one, particularly here in the letters of the name of the deck, Icon over here, just really cleanly done overall. It's a great look to it. The gold has that pattern in the back that's inspired by kind of a tile work pattern. You can see almost looks like fleur-de-lis sort of symbols there, but a beautiful pattern to the black, or to the gold there. And then the black also has its own pattern, again inspired by the Byzantine tile work. You can see the sub name of the deck, Anniversary, down here at the bottom, as well as the Oath logo. As you turn to the sides, the black side over here has the ad copy printed in grease by Oath Playing Cards. And then the other side is just a continuation of that gold that wraps its way to the back. Here you can see a little peek of the artwork that you'll see on the back design of the cards, but we'll get more of that in a second. And it's finished up with another kind of cool little element here, this embossed wax seal. It's not actually a wax seal, it's just an embossed part of the deck, but that pop of red looks really, really nice. You can see really faintly in there it says limited edition 1,200 decks, and then the Oath logo there in the center. Kind of a cool touch. I will say it doesn't look that much like a wax seal when you get it up close, but from a distance kind of has a very cool effect to it. Bottom here, just a continuation of that golden black, as well as the top. As you open it up, kind of a unique shaped thumb cutout there. But as you open it up, just continues the pattern on the inner flaps, and you get some really nice interior printing as well. Let me get the cards out of here. And you can see that pattern on the inside done in gold foil. Fantastic, luxurious deck done on a really nice card stock for the tuck box. Just really impressively done. Lotrek always does a great job with that. The first card out of the box you'll see is the sort of ad card. This is not done on a regular playing card stock, but is instead just sort of an extra card included with this one. And so instead of putting the numbering on like a seal outside of the deck, he instead decided to include this card with his signature and the actual numbering of the deck. So you can see this one's numbered 444 out of the 1,200 deck edition. Love that he kind of forced the issue of opening the deck if you wanted to see what number you got. I don't know, as one who loves opening decks, I think it's a great little touch. So there's that one extra card, and then the rest of them are the deck itself. Now you may have noticed right off the bat, it is a gilded deck. Beautiful gold gilding, very clean, nice reflective, smooth finish to this one. Gilding of this one's super nicely done, and that gold gilding just adds that extra bit of luxury. I mean, what would an icon be if it wasn't draped in gold? So there's your gilding, and then here's the back design. Now, I mentioned the original Icons Imperial deck featured gold and silver foil work on this one, but on the back design, that's kind of what made it notable. This one instead goes with metallic inks. It's still a really nice look to it overall, and draws a lot of inspiration from Byzantine artwork, including the symbol in here in the middle. This double-headed eagle was actually one of the imperial symbols of some of the houses of the Byzantine Empire. So very cool look. Love the inclusion of those eagles in there. And then the artwork, the filigree, all of the detail in here, just really ornate and beautifully done in a mixture of that kind of greenish blue color, the maroon, and of course the accents of gold throughout. So very nice back design, finishes out with a pretty thin white poker border around the edges. And then we turn to the faces. Now, if you've seen other Lotrek decks, you'll see some familiar elements to the art style for sure on these, but you get a trio of jokers that feature a juggling jester there in the center. You have the red one, a black one, and a green one over here. And they're all just sort of juggling the balls in the air. So the red and the black one have the 3 balls up in the air, and then the green one has kind of a collection of other balls that, I don't know, I guess he's dropped or something like that. I don't know, maybe he's a juggler in training or something. But a cool trio of jokers with that classic jester look to them, but then mixing in some Byzantine architecture around the edges. And then you just have the Joker in the corners with the Oath logo. There's your 3 jokers. And then you get another ad card. This one is printed on regular cardstock. Just mentioning the Icons Anniversary Edition, and that these were printed in Greece in 2022. All right, now on to the core of the deck, and we'll start off with the 4 aces. So your power ace, the Ace of Spades, features a fantastic design in the middle. The peacocks here in the center. The peacocks were another common symbol that was used within the Byzantine Empire. It was a symbol of rebirth and of the spring. And wealthy people actually often had peacocks wandering around in their gardens. So a great look to it overall, and you can see the peacock's feathers kind of flare up to form the classic spade shape. Really love the look of this one. I think it's a great theme, and a great and fitting theme. And those little hits of blue in there really stand out. And then you have the name of the deck, the anniversary, and then the Icons Standard Edition at the bottom. All the golds here are done in gold metallic inks. So you get the classic shaped pip here in the corner, and then a really ornate, kind of a calligraphy style. He says this is inspired by Byzantine sacred texts. So this is similar to the style of font that would be used on those. And then the extra little spade pip here in that 2-tone gold color on the sides. Other 3 aces have designs that are more inspired by some of the religious iconography, or maybe even like Byzantine tiles or something like that. Very ornate frames around those classic pips in the center. You get the diamond, the club, and the heart. So red cards are classic red, of course, mixed in with the metallic gold, and then black with gold on the black cards. So there's your 4 aces. And then we get into the number cards. Number cards feature those 2-tone pips. I really like how those look. The gold with the black is just a great pairing to it. And then those 2-tone golds in the corners. For me, I think when you look at this, the number of pips starts to get a little distracting. You have the 2 in the center, ones in the corner, and the ones on the side. So maybe could have done away with a couple of them. And I was a little bit surprised to see there's actually some printing imperfections on a few of the cards. You can see the little specks here where some of the ink from maybe another card kind of wore into it or something like that. A little bit disappointing, a little surprising, because Lotrek's usually spot on with the printing. But here's the number cards as we go through. You'll see a little bit more of the imperfection there where there's a little bit of bleed of the metallic ink. Just an unfortunate little bit there, but overall still a beautiful look to these cards. Here's the red card, so there's a look at how the gold and the red pair together. I think the black and gold's a little bit better of a contrast, but the red and gold looks nice as well. And then into the clubs. And finally with the hearts. So there's your number cards, beautifully done, nice, elegant look to them, but at the same time standard enough to be something that you could use for gameplay. And then we get into the court cards, and the court cards are modified standard is what I'd call them. So it definitely has the look and feel of some of the other sort of more standard courts that Lotrek's done, using classic poses, hairstyles, but all of the artwork is kind of given a full facelift. There's lots of nice little touches. The color scheme on these in particular is what stands out to me. Those sort of earth tones, the browns and goldish colors in here, very much reminiscent of some of the artwork of the icons of the Byzantine Empire. So it kind of fits in with that theme and kind of gives the whole thing a color vibe that really matches to me. And then the writing here in the corner lists out the name of the card, not meant to be super readable. So it's just a series of letters, it almost looks like, but you will make out that it says Jack of Spades if you look at it closely. And that's sort of a callback again to some of the icons of the Byzantine Empire, where sometimes the saints would have like their name written beside inside them in some way. So just sort of a little contextual element that he decided to include on all the cards. I think it's a pretty cool little addition. So I kind of think of these as bicycle quartz redrawn in the style of Byzantine icons. So I think they're really nicely done. I tend to like more customized quartz rather than these that are a little bit closer to standard. But as standard quartz go, I think these were really, really nicely drawn overall. So your king of clubs and then into the hearts. And there's your Suicidal King to finish it out. And that is the deck. Really nicely done. Just a beautiful piece of artwork. And as somebody who doesn't own any of the original Icons decks, I was really happy to get a hold of one for myself. Now, as far as handling, let me put this card aside. These are printed by Lotrek, so they're a little bit thicker stock, and they handle reasonably well. Not super great. You get a little bit of clumping. That's not terribly surprising with the gilding on these. Lotrek, not known for his handling index. This one I would say is sort of middle of the road for his stuff. Maybe even a little bit on the better side as Lotrek decks go. But anyway, that is the look at the deck. It's definitely more of an art deck than anything else. Usually those gilded decks aren't ones you're going to want to use super heavily for gameplay. But it's a beautiful way to enjoy the Icons decks, especially if you weren't able to get a hold of one of the original Icons decks, ones that now go in the hundreds of dollars. They're very hard to get a hold of. So as one of those people myself, super happy to get a hold of this and get a chance to check this one out. And this one's going to proudly stand in my collection. So glad to have it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Make sure to subscribe for more deck reviews and more unboxings. Let me know what else you want to see, and I'll see you for the next one.